Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Matty. Matty is from Montana in the USA. So let's see what Matty has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello. Perfect, Matty. So how's your day been so far?
Today's my day off, so I've done absolutely nothing, just chores around the house. Shopping, do my laundry, but that'll happen after the interview.
Usually on your days off, what do you tend to do? What's the thing that you enjoy to do the most?
I live in Montana right now, and I work outside all day. So most of my days off, I like the first day just to be doing absolutely nothing, waking up, making coffee, having a nice breakfast. But normally I'm always active. So we go on long hikes, we go touring, we go in the back country, we keep going skiing. So it's kind of nonstop. I just like to be active. But one day off is what I take just to relax and restart.
Amazing. And what do you do for a living that take a lot of your time?
I work as ski patrol. So I'm an EMT on a mountain, pretty much. So I work at a resort, everyone goes skiing there. If someone gets hurt, I'm the one that shows up and helps out.
Oh my God, that's interesting. Wow. And how long have you been doing this job for?
So it's seasonal. So I split my time between Montana and then Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I work out here in Big Sky for 5 months out of the year, and then I'll return back to Pittsburgh where I work at a hospital there as an advanced patient care technician, helping the nurses take care of patients.
I see. And saying that about your helping with the accidents in the ski side, does it happen a lot, very often or not?
Yeah, it's daily. There's always something that happens. Sometimes people just need help getting down the mountain, so we can give them a courtesy ride in our toboggan, and people do get injured quite often because it is a risky sport. So if you're putting yourself out in risk, of course, there might be consequences sometimes. So we're just there to make most injuries turn into something more seamless. So our hands off to like the ambulance or to the helicopters that help people with life flight and stuff like that just works out seamlessly.
I see. So that's the main reason why you live in Montana?
Yes. Yeah, I just come out here for winters to work ski patrol.
And all your family are back in Pittsburgh?
No, my family live in Florida. I'm originally from Fort Myers Beach, Florida. So my family resides there now. My brother lives in New Orleans.
Wow. Everywhere. You are everywhere.
Everywhere. Oh, I have lived many lives.
Amazing. Okay, Matty, so before we start the game, I would like you to tell me something interesting about yourself.
About myself? I have an extra bone in my body. I have 207 bones. I have an extra vertebrae in my back. That's pretty interesting.
Very interesting for sure. And that does do anything different to your back, or do you feel something or not? Just they find out.
It's just there. We're all born with the extra bone. It never formed into my coccyx, so I have an extra vertebrae right at the very end. Everyone's born with it, but then it turns into your coccyx as you grow older. But mine didn't.
Wow. And when did you find out that? Early age, as a baby?
I was a teenager when I found that out. I started going to the chiropractor and we got x-rays on my back. And then he noticed, oh, look at that. You have an extra vertebrae. Only 17% of the world's population have this. So that's pretty cool.
Very cool for sure. Thanks for sharing that. Thank you.
Of course.
Matty, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Let's do it. Let's see.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have here my best friend. Full of random fun questions, okay? I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to get in the mood a little bit before the first question, okay? Let's do it. Right, Matt. So just before we start the game, through the journey, if there is a question that you don't have an answer for, you don't want to talk, I always can change, okay?
Great.
First question for you is, what do you think are the best traits for a person to have?
I think the best traits for a person to have are patience, humor, compassion, and grit.
Which one of those traits do you think are the strongest, that you have the strongest one for yourself?
Having patience and grit. Through patience, you're of course going to have kindness because they kind of coincide with each other, because you kind of have to be patient to be kind. But grit is the hardest thing to find in people sometimes, you know? I think society today like kind of boils us all into these boxes and makes us like who we are and a stereotype. So kind of breaking those boundaries and having a little bit of grit in it, it kind of shows the person's power, you know?
Sure. I agree with you. Next question. Okay, Matty, next question is, do you know anyone who is living their life to the fullest?
Yeah, I work with, I would say myself, that is like, my motto is just in it for life, keep going, say yes to everything motif. That's kind of like what I do. So my job as a ski patrol, there's 50 of us that are doing the same exact thing. You know, we all work in this very physical and demanding job. So living your life to the fullest is the only way that you can kind of do that, because every day is different. We're put in very awkward positions when it comes to like where we're skiing, how we're doing avalanche control work and stuff like that. So you kind of have to have that, like, I'm going to live every day like it's the last.
Saying that, walk me through a little bit about your working day. Like, what time do you start usually? How does it work for the whole day, if you can?
So we do 4 10-hour shifts a week. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm on the mountain by 6:30, and we are opening up everything by 9 o'clock. So if it snows a lot during the day, we'll go up super early and do avalanche control on the ridge of our mountain. And that just means setting off a lot of bombs. We do simultaneous bombs on trams, just to kind of shake the mountain and get all that new snow that just fell on it to fall off. So then you can ski it a lot more safely.
Wow, that's very interesting. I never knew that.
On and on and on. And we end at 4 o'clock. If someone gets injured, we get dispatched to the injury, bring them down to the first aid, provide care on the mountain. We have a doctor that works on the mountain all the time too, so we can bring him in if we need a little bit more of an expertise or more of a keen eye for certain situations. But we just ski all day, you know, and it's a lot of team building. We do a lot of training all the time just to make sure that we're always on top of our game. So medical training, toboggan training, we do ropes training, we do everything. It just never stops.
Amazing, very good. Next question, let's do it. Next question for you is, where do you want to be in 10 years time from now?
Well, I'm 35 now, so that means I'll be 45. 10 years time now, so I really suck at planning and like making like short-term goals. I'm always like the long-term goal person, and then like the short-term just like happens. So 10 years, I want to see myself going through nursing school, completing all of that, and continuing on this like journey of finding who I am in my later, you know, in my 30s, in my later self, you know, and more of a seasoned and more of an experienced person. I want to see, you know, where it all takes me, but I know it's going to be in healthcare and helping people.
I see. And when did you start your passion about work in healthcare?
Sure. During 2019, right when COVID hit, is when I went back to college to get my EMT. I had a business that slowly just started crumbling, and I needed to find something else. And I've always wanted to be an EMT and start there, just helping those in trauma, because that's really scary. And I feel like I always bring a sense of calm and compassion. And I work really well under pressure. So when the pandemic hit and I saw all the lives we were losing and the crisis that we had in our healthcare system and our hospitals, I just felt pushed that direction to go ahead and start the journey on helping people.
Very good. Ready for another one?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. Before the next one, when I invited you for the interview, I was checking a little bit your Facebook page, and there was 4 words there that got my attention. Yeah, I would like to tell me a little bit about it. The first one, adventure.
Yeah, totally. So I lived in New York City for 10 years and had a really wonderful time with many jobs, a lot of different things always just coming in and out because it's a big city and it never stops. And I decided to stop all of that when I was 30 years old and kind of live this life I've always wanted to be. You know, since I was a child, we were always going on these adventures and like building these forts and the trees on the canals in Florida and stuff like that. So we've always been outside, always been on a bike, always been traveling the world with my jobs, making sure that my jobs kind of lead myself into adventure. Because, you know, we have to pay for our adventures. So why not make work an adventure? You know, so that's kind of how my life is. Anything and everything I do is an adventure. And we take it adventure by adventure.
Next one, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Okay. So when I was 12 and 13, I did the Macy's Day Parade with this choir that I was in middle school. And I knew at that point, it was like, I'm going to go to New York City and I'm going to be in theater and I'm going to do all these great things in that city because everyone's there for a passion, for a purpose, and for like their reason, you know? So after I graduated college, I moved to New York City, did all those things. And I ended up in Brooklyn, and that was kind of changing because it changed everything. I stopped doing theater. I pulled back on the dancing and kind of turned my world into a lot of other things that I was passionate about. And Brooklyn is where I ended up finding a lot of myself.
Right. Next one, Bozeman. Did you just say right?
Bozeman, right.
Bozeman?
Yeah. So I'm in Bozeman now. Yeah, okay. So Adventurer, Brooklyn, Bozeman. I see where we're going. So Bozeman is, when I left New York City, I moved to Bozeman. It was my reset button. I got some really good work out here. I was a whitewater rafting guide down the Yellowstone, a butcher in the fall, and then I skied in the winter. So I had this seasonal circle of work. That was my adventure. You know, I was a raft guide on whitewater. Like who gets to do that for a job every single summer? I did. You know, I got to choose to do that. Boom, adventure. I always say yes to it all. And then now I'm back on the East Coast because I helped a friend out where I live now in Pittsburgh, and now I've created a life there. So I make sure that my jobs allow me to go back and forth from Bozeman to Pittsburgh.
Okay, good. Next question is, what is the silliest thing have you ever posted online on social media?
Oh, I wouldn't call it silly. I would just call it, because I guess it is silly. I have done drag before one time. My name is Blazy Susan. It's on my Instagram. And I posted my first performance ever. And it was really funny because the shoe broke and I slipped and fell, but I had a great time doing it. So it's silly in a way, but it's just another facet of who I am.
Wow. How long you're performing for?
So I had a career in musical theater for 15 plus years. I was a dancer in New York City and everything like that, doing musical theater, doing shows out there. So I've been performing for a huge portion of my life. I would say about 20 years I was performing for.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And just think, what's your drag name again?
Blazy Susan. In America, we have these super things called Lazy Susans. You put them on your table and you put your food on it and you can turn it so everyone gets a portion. You don't have to pass it around anymore. It's such a silly concept.
And do you think Blaze Susan is gonna go back, or do you think Blaze Susan is on the side for now?
Oh, it's on the side for now. I'm not really good at doing any of the makeup, so my really best Judy is what we call them, our best friends. My drag mother, her name is Schwa de Vive. She does all my stuff. She puts me in clothes, puts me in makeup, and then I just perform.
Very good. Next question for you, Matty. Let's do it. Next question is, what bores you?
What bores me? Complacency bores me. Getting into kind of like falling into the same motif over and over and over again, doing the same things. I like to change it up. I work well when change happens, and a lot of people don't, and you come so complacent and doing the same things over and over and over again, so that it bores the crap out of me. So I make sure that I never get too complacent in my life.
Do you get bored very easy?
No, I can entertain myself. It's easy
Good.
to do that. You kind of just daydream, or you go do things by yourself. But yeah, you get bored sometimes, but it's how you look at being bored and how you just like snap right out of it.
Very good. Next question. Let's do it. Before the next question, being a gay guy, did you always have the support of your family?
No, not at all. I don't have a relationship with my family now. My parents and I didn't really see eye to eye because of religious values. Grew up super religious, and being gay was your abomination, it's a sin, all of that. So my family and I haven't talked to my father since I was 18, and my mother passed. My stepmom and I have a growing relationship because instead of her seeing my homosexuality, she finds traits of her in me, and we kind of go that way now. And we're building a much better, loving, working relationship. But my father and I, that's unfortunate. I have forgiven for you kind of have to forgive those actions because they don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think they grew up with how a lot of our image is perceived today. So. He's stuck in his ways, he's stuck in his religion, and I just forgive and forget, And that's kind of how I live with him. Others suck.
Yes. Yes, I think sometimes the society voice can be so strong, and religion as well. Sometimes our dear ones around us, our family, sometimes they are not strong enough to face it, to challenge the society, to challenge the religion, and they find maybe a easier way to kind of disconnect with us in a way. So it's kind of common to happen. I think it's unfortunately, but I think still the society voice, in any ways, in different ways, can be very strong. And sometimes, as you said, it's not their fault. Sometimes it's just they're scared, they didn't have the information, they are not able to open their minds right now to, what I mean? So it's a lot of things involved, a lot of concepts involved. But I'm glad that you have this mindset of like forgiveness, you know what I mean? That anyways, in the end of the day, they're always going to be part of us. And again, could be not their fault as well, you know what I mean? Maybe one day they're going to learn, or they're going to open mind, or maybe not. So that's the way things are sometimes. Thanks for sharing.
Of course, you can't hold on to that.
Next question for you is, what's one movie you could watch over and over again?
This is so horrible, but it's Titanic. I was like a little gay boy when that came out. What was it, like 94, 95, something like that? And I watched it 13 times in the theater. So if you do the math, that's 36 hours, isn't it? Because the movie's 3 hours long. So I spent like days in the theater watching Titanic on repeat. I bought the soundtrack. I used to fall asleep to it, like crying. Oh my God. I lived on a lake, and I used to throw roses into the lake as a memoriam for all the people that died.
That's cute. That's cute. That's cute.
If they ever built that ship, I am going. Let's go. Let's slow down around the icebergs. Climate change. There's no icebergs in the water anymore. Come on.
You know what? You're saying that I flew to Canada for Christmas in December last year, and I was on the plane, and there was a few movies, and the Titanic was there as well. I said, you know what? I'm gonna watch it.
Push
But
play. Like, come on, it's 3 hours long. It's a long flight. Let's go.
do you know? I'll tell you something now. Do you know? But you know, usually I don't know until what a part that I get a bit bored after when the ship starts sinking. I don't know why I get a bit bored in a way. I know it's me.
I wait for it. I'm like, come on, let's go. And then it's like 2 hours in. Finally, the ship's sinking.
For me, the scene that I love the most, and when they meet each other, they when she starts seeing his you know what I mean, his work, when
when they're sitting on the deck and then
yeah,
so
yeah,
blah, blah, blah. He's like,
and she gets and he starts asking her like about, do you love him? And she was like, that's so rude, you know. I'm not gonna talk to you about that. I just love it. That's probably the best scene when they are there talking about that, and he is straightforward to her, and she starts to go like, you know, very English, like, that's so good.
I'm more like, give me the death and the grit, you know.
Oh dear. Next question, Matt. Let's do it. All right. Next question for you is there a dream you always had?
Yeah, my dream was to be on Broadway, and then checked that off. And then after that, it was just like, okay, I've done what I wanted, and now let's go ahead and continue either wherever the world takes me. I had a dream to ride my bicycle across the country, and I did. You know, from Brooklyn to Seattle, and then Seattle to Los Angeles in one summer, and like that was the life-changing moment for me. I was 29 when I did that, so that was kind of like, all right, we're gonna change gears and do something totally different from theater. We're gonna ride our bike across the country. Let's go.
How long did it take for you to do the whole journey?
It was 92 days. It took me 58 days to cross the country, and then I took a really long time getting down to LA because I realized that, whoa, you did that really fast. In my eyes, I thought it was going to take me like 100-something days just to get across the country. But your body starts to change while you're doing this very physical thing, and you kind of become unstoppable, and your muscles kind of are now trained to do the same thing over and over and over again, and your breathing changes. And you know, there were days where I would complete hundreds of miles. It was absolutely insane.
Oh, wow. And did you do on your own, or did you do with other people as well?
So initially I was going to do it on my own, saved all my money, bought all my gear, and then the company I was working for decided to sponsor me. And they said, why don't you bring a friend with you who can document it all? So I have a really good friend named Pierce. He came with me. He went to school for documentary art, and he documented the whole process. We have pictures and videos, and we're slowly putting together a book.
Oh my God, let me know when it's ready. I'd like to check it out. I'd like to see the adventure.
Of course.
Oh my God. Do you have already a name for the project?
We have a couple. We're not going to say anything yet, but we're trying to figure it out. The book, we're thinking, instead of it being like strictly dialogue, it's going to be more short stories and things we've learned and pictures. You know, we took a lot of pictures. We got some really beautiful. The lens that he sees is something that I think a lot of people can't see. So he sees all these beautiful moments and captured some incredible pictures. So short stories, and it's more going to be inspiration for anyone to pick up and say, well, if these two did it, you know, because, you know, I was a bike messenger, he was a documentarian at that point. So I was riding a bike a lot in the city, but we never thought about doing it distance. And then when we did, we realized how hard it actually was. And it took us a long time to get into our groove. So it'll, you know, the book will be based off of hardships and stories to make the reader feel a lot more closer and feel like it's a lot more tangible for them as well.
Amazing. Oh, thanks for, I love it. I love the idea. Just what you're talking about, I can picture yourself going through the journey. My goodness.
On my Facebook, I think there's a bunch of pictures of me just smiling and laughing across the country.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Next one. Let's do it. Next question is, what is your morning ritual, if you have any?
My morning ritual. Okay, so I am a creature, when I said like regimen before, I am a creature of habit, and I do have a regimen, and especially in my mornings for work. This is the same thing in Montana that it is in Pittsburgh. Two very different jobs, but I do the same exact thing. So everything is set out already. I just want to make it simple. So I wake up, I'm not a person who hits the snooze. I'm a person that throws feet off and is like, let's claim the day, but not with all the glee. It's more just like, because if you keep hitting snooze, you're never getting out of bed. So I run and I get out of bed and I hop straight in the shower. That wakes me up. I go get my uniform on, which is like scrubs for the hospital, or it's my ski clothes for work, and go upstairs, get water boiling, make coffee immediately. My lunch is packed. I pack my backpack. I fill my thermos. I start my car early because it's like 5 degrees outside, which is literally nearly freezing. And then drink up 1 cup of coffee, and then I'm out the door. And I have to drive like an hour and a half to work. So yay.
Do you consider yourself to be a night or a day person?
That depends on where I am. During my work week, I am a day person. 10 hours outside all day long. And when nighttime comes, I'm like, yay, finally I get to go to bed. But when I'm on vacation, it's more of like a day and night person. I have an excessive amount of energy, and I need to do a lot of things to expel all that energy so I can go to sleep at night. So sometimes I stay up.
Right, Matty, I have 3 questions left for you, okay? Let's do it. Good dancer you are.
Thank you.
Right, before the next question, tell me, what do you like the most about your job, and what's the most challenging part?
What I like most about my job is the ability to be there for someone in trauma. It's really scary when especially you're on a mountain in winter, and let's say you're skiing in the trees and your leg hits a tree and all of a sudden you have a broken bone. You call us, we get there, we package them up, and we're able to bring the calm. That's what we do. We bring the calm, we bring the peace, we bring the confidence to ensure them that they are safe and in good hands. I love that aspect about my job. The hardest thing, I think, we're all type A personalities, the people that we work with. We are a very tight-knit group where there's only 50 of us. We work on a mountain that we have 3 mountains. So it's a little bit smaller. It's a private club. So the clientele is very different. Sometimes we get at each other's throats because we're always, out there and confident and brave and have grit and compassion. We have all these things. So I think sometimes our personalities tend to clash, and it's finding the time when you need to say something and when you need not to say something. And it's, interpersonal relationships are always hard, especially when you're together forever for 5 months and literally just doing it. And
absolutely,
it can be taxing sometimes. They're like brothers and sisters.
And saying that, Matty, people watch the interview. Would you like to, to adventure themselves and do the same job as you're doing now for this period? What would be your best piece of advice for those people?
My best advice, if someone is ever looking into doing ski patrol, is putting yourself out there and evaluating your risks, and know that you can do it if you have your abilities and your studies behind you. That it is a very tangible thing, and it will change your life. It will change your idea of how you can be a healthcare worker and an EMT. So put yourself out there and love the risk of it all, because that's what makes you keep going back every single day for more.
Good. Next question is, what can make you cry and what can make you really happy?
What can make me cry? I got my tear ducts surgically removed years ago, so I don't cry anymore. I'm just kidding. What can make me cry? Really touching stories and emotion of people that had conquered change. I think it's really hard for those to kind of share that vulnerability and that intimacy that you have to kind of go through when you're either stuck in a position where you don't feel who you are, or someone else doesn't recognize who you are, and you have to evolve and change and grow with that. And hearing that strength from those individuals definitely makes me cry in a drop of a hat. What makes me really happy, or makes me happy like immediately, really good food. I love dining out. I save money to go to nice restaurants because that is an art form. You know, those chefs are putting their life into the food and there's a story behind it. You know, there always is. So really good food and having those experiences, that the moment when you put it into your mouth and you're like, oh my God, I've never had this before. And all these fireworks go off and you get to go home and then try to recreate it. That makes me really happy. I love eating food.
It's like a piece of art, you know what I mean? You are literally tasting a piece of art. That's they put so much in there, you know what I mean? There's so
themselves into it, you know.
Absolutely, totally agree.
It takes so long to get to that craft, to get to that idea of transcending what a dining experience or what food could actually be. You know, it takes a master, it takes a prodigy, it takes someone who is out of their self to be able to see that.
Absolutely, I agree. 2 questions left for you. Let's do it. Next question is, what do you like the most about your best friends?
Oh, they are always there. Doesn't matter the time of day, time of night. Doesn't matter if you're in a pickle, if you're in a pinch. Doesn't matter if you just need to vent, you need to get something off your chest, or you just want to FaceTime them and say, hi, I love you. They always pick up, they're always available. And I'm the same way. You know, after my family asked me to leave, you have to go through a lot to choose your own family. And now friends are my family. So friendships to me are so much more important than an idea of like, this is your blood, this is who you are, this is where you're from. You throw that out, and going through that hardship, I was reborn into who I am today. And I get to now pick and choose those people that I share my true identity with. You know, we always have walls and barriers up. But being able to bring all of these wonderful people into my life and call them my brothers, my sisters, my mother, my father, that's the most important thing to me.
I'm going to ask a question to you. This let's say challenge situation that you had in the past with your family, when you look back, if you could take this out, erase this from your life, would you do it, or you keep the way it is?
I would keep it the way it is. I'm a believer that everything happens for a reason. The coincidences of everything happening at that point and boiling at that point, it was a buildup. You know, they had caught me looking at gay porn on the internet and me making all these excuses up for it and then believing it, but they would brush it under the rug and then they would find something else and I'd just create a story. Oh, this wasn't me, this wasn't me, this was somebody else. And then the last straw was, it was prom night when they found this gay erotica book from this guy I was seeing. It was like a Christmas gag gift. And he wrote this note inside and I totally forgot that I put the book underneath my parents' car that I used to drive to prom, and my mom found it the next morning and was like, what is this? And I was like, well, I'm gay. This is what I've never wanted to tell you, but I've known you guys have always known, but I am, this is me. And the literal thing she says, she goes, you know, there's going to be consequences with this. And I like broke down and cried and I said, of course I knew. That's why I've been hiding it. You know, that's why my idea was to go to college and become who I am as a gay man. And that was cut short, but it happened for a reason. So I would keep it in because it's made me who I feel is this wonderful, caring, strong, powerful, confident individual. And I think that if I was still that person hiding and maybe not as comfortable with who I am now today, and of course I still struggle with self-confidence and stuff like that because of that trauma, but it's still finding your ways and looking outside of yourself and being like, no, you really climbed a hurdle and you really got through a lot of obstacles, and because of that you are this entity that is above a lot of those closed-minded individuals, and I feel sorry for them, but I'm so happy that it's made me who I am today. So leave that in.
As they say, the most difficult battles are given to the strongest ones. I've got goosebumps now saying those stories. It's very powerful.
That hits me really hard saying that too. It's so hard to remember that. And you're always like, why is this still happening to me? Why is this still being in my life? What is this thing? But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I'm very proud of who I am because of it.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Ready for the last one?
Yes.
Let's do it. Last question. But before the last question, Matty, of course, I could see your eyes shining when you walk me through your beautiful project journey or traveling around, the US, cycling. Okay, when you look, tell me if you can share like a fun story or situation that happened through. I'm sure you have loads, but something that was very funny. That was something that I'll never forget. And also, do you see yourself a different person when you finished the whole journey? You look back, okay, I'm a different person because of that. Could you share something?
Yeah. So like one of the most memorable things is, me and my partner who I did it with, Pierce, we were very alone for a lot of the trip. We just saw a lot of cars, we saw a lot of motorcycles. You don't see a lot of cyclists crossing the country, believe it or not. We were in Oregon, and then all of a sudden we started seeing a lot of people. And these two cyclists came into our lives. Their names are Linus and Ludwig. They're from Sweden. And they're like these two Swedish men, blonde, long hair, tattooed, gorgeous, these really cute accents. They became our instant best friends, and we cycled together for a month, all the way down the coast from Oregon, all the way down to LA. And we still have friendships. I mean, it's been years since I've done that. It was 2016. So here we are, still the best of friends in the world and always looking for the next adventure, and we still cycle together and everything. So it was really great finding them, because Pierce and I, battling the loneliness out on the road, it's hard. Pierce and I would drift apart as well as we cycled, and sometimes I was hours behind him, or he was hours or I was hours in front of him. So we were alone a lot, and it's dealing with that mental game was the hardest thing that I think changed me the most, because I went in there with a schedule, with times, with miles, with stops. This is where we have to go. We have to do this. This is how many days. And by the time I got to South Dakota, I started losing those things. And then when I met Linus and Ludwig, threw that out and was like, great, this is when the adventure starts. And it was kind of getting through those first 8 states and then realizing that you need to let go. And that was more of a thing internally that I always hold. I am very structured when it comes to certain aspects of my life, because it needs to be, because self-control is also sometimes difficult. I love to have a good time, but there's a time and a place for everything. And I've always been super structured. So it broke down a lot of those barriers and helped me just to kind of give up and give in and just say yes.
Amazing. Very good. Last question for you is, what would be your ideal day?
My ideal day?
Yeah.
My ideal day is waking up very slowly with no expectation, hopefully with someone that's really cute next to me, and we could cuddle for a little bit. And then building a day off of literally no plans, no expectations. What do you want to do today? Oh, I really feel like I want to get this pastry from this one place. Well, let's go there. Then after, what do you want to do after? Oh, let's go there. It's normally ends up like going on a hike or adventuring somewhere, going on a long bike ride, getting some good food. But, you know, it's just living your best life, you know? That's what I want.
Great. Right, let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words and you just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Family.
Found.
Money.
Monetary.
Love.
Ever-changing. That's two words, but let's just put them together and make it a compound word.
One word for life.
One word for life. Adventure.
One word for sex.
Naughty.
Politics.
Boring.
Religion.
Fake.
Fear.
Encouraged.
Friendship.
Everlasting.
Desire.
Needed.
Regret.
Never.
Success.
Easy.
One word for passion.
Fire.
Wish.
Wish. I guess I would just say hopeful.
How about happiness?
Everywhere.
One word for Bozeman.
Peace.
One word for Pittsburgh.
Temporary.
One word for New York.
Creation.
One word for Florida.
Party. My best friend lives there and I go to Miami all the time to visit him and it's just a never-ending party.
Good for you. One word for USA.
Hopeful.
One word for healthcare.
Messy.
And the last one now, I would like to say just in one word, your adventure that you did cycling through the US. One word.
One word for that. It has to be like two, or no, I guess it could be one. One word for that, I would say stupendous.
Amazing. Let's pretend now we're going to meet your best friend for a coffee.
Okay.
After a long party in Miami, after like a long party, I'm gonna ask your best friend or your best friend dad or any other best friends. What is the most beautiful thing about Matty, and what's something that he still needs to work on to improve on? What your best friend would say?
I think they would say my willingness to always make sure that anyone that's around me, it doesn't matter where you are, that they're taken care of. That if you need something, I am there to help you to do it. I've always got your back. I'm always responsible. I wouldn't say responsible, but dependable. One thing to work on, I think, would be maybe my self-confidence. I come off very confident and very easy to talk to and very just there and present and in my life and my story and who I am. But sometimes when the doors are closed, you know, you get into that headspace, and you know, as RuPaul says, the inner saboteur, it's really easy for them to take over. And I think sometimes I lack in what a lot of other people have with self-esteem and certain aspects of that. You know, they would say, shut up, you're great at who you are, you're great at everything you do, grow some self-confidence and stop being a little baby about things, and shut your mouth.
Right, let's play now Matty and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question.
I actually have a few questions.
Oh my God, okay, let's do it.
Well, I'll pick the best ones. Okay, in relationships, what is your love language?
Touch. I'm very physical. For me, I had my ex-boyfriends. I remember that sometimes they were complaining, they're like, my God, just give me space. I'm not, because I'm very physical, you know, I like to express myself with my touch, with my, you know what I mean? Yeah, my touch, being around and just being like touching, or I think that's one of the strongest one. That's always, when I look back with my relationship, that's something that I was always being told off, because I was like, okay, you know, they enjoy it, but I think sometimes, maybe because I find myself a lonely person, you know. I always have a lot of people around me. I love being with people, but as you're saying about sometimes when the door closes, you know what I mean, I find myself, but I like as well, I'm Scorpio, we are very lonely. We need our space, you know, and I just understand that as well. So yeah, but yeah, I think touching, it's something that it's something very strong with me.
I love that. I'm a Sagittarius, so I understand space as well. You know, I'm the one who's like, bye. And then you don't see me for a while. Then I'm like, oh, I'm back.
My second one is Sagittarius, actually. My second one is Sagittarius. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Sagittarius Capricorn. So
there we go.
Okay. What's one habit you would change about yourself? Is there a tick or a habit that you have that you're like, oh, let's stop this?
Okay, I have a few that I think, but the one straight away came to my mind when you're asking the question is overthinker. I can get myself the habit of overthinking a lot about everything. So it takes me sometimes, you know, even as soon as I wake up, you know, I try not to get myself busy, but if I stop for some reason, if I'm going to work, there's always some overthink come around. So yeah, that's something I would stop.
Good. I think we should both work on that then, because overthinking it's a demon, and it'll get you know, absolutely. And it really changes a lot of aspects of how you think and how you see a lot of things. So, and
it takes a lot of your energy as well.
Yeah, it really does. It takes more energy than anything.
Absolutely.
The brain power. Okay, so as I said, my drag name was Blazy Susan. What would your drag name be?
It's funny you saying yes that when I was I have 3 gay friends that we used to when I let's say 10 years ago, we used to be together, and they were making up names, you know what I mean, names for us, yeah. Or they create a name for me that I still remember. I'm laughing.
Someone should always create your drag name for you.
And my name was it's so funny, Tiene Maragret. I don't know where it comes from, but they've told me that suits me. Tiene Maragret. It's so funny.
It's gonna work then, Miss Tiene.
Tiene Maragret.
Let's go. Okay, last question. As the individual that you are today, how do you hope to influence those around you?
Right, I think, good question. I think, Matt, something that's always, you know, I always tell my friends, I always tell in the interviews as well, I always speak out, is about being yourself, you know. I think that's the main key of everything in your life. Bad things gonna happen because you're yourself. Good things gonna happen because you're yourself. Wrong people will come because you are yourself. The right people will come and stay because of you're yourself. So I believe that it's more relaxing. You don't feel any pressure on your shoulders. You don't need to pretend being anybody else. Or saying that, I understand that sometimes, depending situations, occasions, sometimes you don't need to be somebody else, but sometimes you need to kind of, you know what I mean, be yourself, put yourself in a different shoes, or behave in a different way. I totally understand that, but I always say, whatever you do in your life, even if you meet the people that you think, okay, I love being around these people, but if being around these people, or a relationship or a love or something, for some reason you need to behave in a way that's not yourself, it's not a good idea. You know what I mean? You're gonna put away the people who meant to be around you, and those people I see that as a challenge. And now I'm older, I can say that, but when as younger, I remember sometimes you feel so tempted to fit in their, you know what I mean, in their the way they want you to be. To fit, and sometimes you feel so tempted because of insecurity, because of any reason. You feel like, okay, I think, but no, look back, no, be yourself. They're gonna appreciate that, and even though those people, they're gonna appreciate, because if they meant to be around you, they will. You know what I mean? If you don't, it's okay. You know what I mean? So I always say that. I think, I always say that to people around me. Please be yourself.
Be authentic.
It's be authentic. It's not even a challenge. It's like if you live your life in a happier way, in a more relaxed way, because people, they're gonna see you, they're gonna appreciate that you are yourself, even if they don't know you. They're gonna understand, and they're gonna see you, your true self, because sometimes you meet people and they say things to you because they don't know, but they can see that you are being yourself, even if they don't know you. They feel it. I feel when somebody, you know what I mean. That's why I can connect with people, and I can see
that's intuitiveness as well. I think
absolutely
having intuition when you meet someone, you can actually see, oh my God, this person is so authentic. They're themselves. Look at them. You in turn can feed off that energy, and you are just as authentic as they are.
Absolutely. And I think, again, saying that, I understand that sometimes we need for some reason, we need to stand up in a different way, or we need to I understand, it's part of life. You know what I mean? It's not but try, at least try, and have the habits of being yourself all the time, because you're gonna see how much you're gonna live more relaxed. The beautiful people come into your life, and you're gonna have so much good time. And it's part of a life, because when you pretend, or live a life that's not yourself, you're gonna be always worrying. You're gonna be always with this have weight in your shoulders, and it's not a good place to be. So I always say that
every day.
Be gay.
And it's a part of me, but it's also a much broader message. And it's a lot big conversation starter.
Absolutely.
So live authentically and be yourself, and make sure that you strive for it every day. And
absolutely.
People will see it.
Absolutely. Matt, did you have a good time?
A great time. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for taking the time. Thanks again for being so open, and talk about your challenges in life, about your adventures as well, about your beautiful project that you did. My goodness, I think it's a gift. It's a brave and it's a gift to do what you did. I think it's beautiful, and was very as I said, challenge as well. And now you can talk about, and people watch the interview, I'm sure they're gonna go like, my goodness, what an adventure. Okay, thank you so much. Before you go, if you can share just a positive message or a positive quote, something that inspires you in life.
My thing is just always say yes. I have it tattooed on my body. Just say yes. Saying yes will always lead for doors opening, people accepting who you are. You'll never plateau. You'll never become complacent. It'll teach you things. It'll show you things. And it'll mold you to be a much stronger individual. So just say yes to everything except for bad drugs, and go ahead and live your best life.
Beautiful, beautiful. Matty, thank you very much for the interview, and you keep in touch, okay? Thanks so much. It was a pleasure connecting with you, okay?
Of course. Thank you, William.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first subscribe to our channel, and after that just go to our website www.williamandthemagicbox.com and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show, and I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.